Warning. You think that $80,000 salary makes you successful? But the math says you're actually one flat tire away from a financial nervous breakdown. Let's talk about why your promotion is actually a pay cut in disguise. You know? I see you, girl, posting your work from cafe aesthetic while your savings account is literally gasping for air. We've been sold a lie that a corporate salary equals security, but I'm here to rip the Band-Aid off. I mean, you're not thriving. You're just a highly paid volunteer for the IRS and your landlord. In this video, I'm exposing the salary security scam and showing you how to actually own your life instead of just renting a lifestyle. Let's be real for a second. You spent years grinding for that mid-senior level title, thinking that once you hit the $80,000 mark, the struggle would finally be over. You thought you'd be sipping mimosas without checking your banking app first, right? But instead, you've just entered a more expensive level of broke. It's called the golden handcuff trap, and it's designed to keep you running on a treadmill until you're 65 and too tired to enjoy the view. Think about the math of your success. After the federal government takes their 22% cut and the state takes theirs, and you pay for that luxury apartment that's conveniently located near the office you hate, what's actually left? I'll tell you, it's barely enough to cover the organic groceries and the bar membership you use to sweat away the corporate stress. You are building wealth. You're just subsidizing a lifestyle that makes your employer look good. The psychological trick they played on us is brilliant. I mean, really. They gave us just enough money to feel superior to our younger selves, but not enough to ever actually be free. You're trapped in a cycle of lifestyle creep, while every raise is immediately swallowed by an upgrade you didn't even know you needed until an Instagram ad told you so. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you why your paycheck is the ultimate distraction from true financial sovereignty. And I'm going to give you the exact blueprint to stop being a slave to a bi-weekly direct deposit. Final warning. If your income stops the moment you stop typing, you don't have a career. You have a high-end subscription to poverty. So, let's do the math your HR department desperately hopes you're too busy with spreadsheets to ever actually calculate. I mean, you finally hit that $80,000 mark, right? You've got the title, the LinkedIn update, and that lovely little ego boost. But here's the savage reality. Once you cross into that 22% tax bracket, Uncle Sam isn't your partner. He's your most expensive roommate. After federal taxes, FICA, and state taxes, that massive raise of yours, it starts looking more like a round deal.
But look, the tax man isn't even the biggest thief here. It's the lifestyle tax you've imposed on yourself. I've seen it 1,000 times, honestly. You're making $80K now, so suddenly that $1,800 apartment isn't good enough for your shiny new professional status, right? You suddenly need the floor-to-ceiling windows just to match your new corporate identity. You're hitting $100 SoulCycle classes because, that's where the successful people hang out. You're buying $2,500 designer work bags because you think you need to look the part to keep the part. You're literally paying a premium to look like you're winning, while your bank account is silently screaming for help. I want you to look at your escape ratio. It's a simple metric. How much of your increased income is actually going toward buying back your freedom versus just buying more stuff? If your expenses rise at the exact same rate as your salary, your wealth is exactly zero. You aren't building a legacy. You're just running on a treadmill that's speeding up.
You're working 40, 50, or 60 hours a week just to service the debt of a life you don't even have time to enjoy. You're exactly one corporate restructuring or one shifting priorities email away from total financial collapse. Why are we so obsessed with looking like we've made it when we're actually drowning in professional grade debt? You've traded your precious time for a slightly better zip code and a gold-plated cage. But that's not even the craziest part of this delusion. Because while you're busy matching your curtains to your salary, there is one specific detail about your $80,000 contract that practically guarantees you'll never be able to retire. Oh, you're still here? Good. That means you finally realize that your $80,000 salary is actually just poverty in a much nicer pair of heels. Now it's time for the reality check you didn't ask for, but you definitely need to hear if you ever want to stop trading your soul for a measly 401k match. Step 1 is the ego audit. And I mean a real audit. I want you to look at your bank statement and find those 3 specific status expenses. You know, the ones you're only paying for so you can keep up with the other boss babes on your feed. Whether it's the $200 boutique fitness membership you only use for the aesthetic, or that $3,000 designer bag you bought to look the part for a job that would replace you in 24 hours if you dropped dead. Kill them today. Your ego is a luxury your net worth simply cannot afford right now. Step 2, the automation tax. Look, you've spent your whole life being a good girl and paying everyone else's bills on time, right? So why is your future self the only person you're comfortable ghosting? I want you to treat your brokerage account like a predatory debt collector. Set up a 15% auto transfer to your index funds the second that paycheck hits, before you can even think about spending it on another $22 happy hour cocktail. If you don't see it, you can't spend it. It's not saving, actually. It's paying the ransom to buy your life back.
Then we have step 3, mindset decoupling. Please just stop brag posting about your new senior director title. I mean, let's be real. Your title is just a fancy label for a gold-plated cage. I want you to start counting freedom months instead of accolades. How many months could you actually survive if you told your boss no today? If the answer is less than 6, you're not a successful professional. You're a high-end hostage. Finally, step 4, skill arbitrage. Right now, you are a single point of failure. If a single algorithm change or one bad quarterly earnings report goes sideways, your entire life collapses. You need one high-income skill you can sell outside your 9 to 5. Whether it's consulting, copywriting, or specialized tech skills, you need a side door. Because as long as you are 100% dependent on that $80,000 contract, you aren't an employee. You're a servant with a dental plan. But don't think for a second that just working harder is the answer. It's not. In fact, there is one specific trap in this escape plan that most women fall into within the first 90 days. A psychological glitch that practically guarantees you'll end up right back in that cubicle. Only this time, you'll be even more burnt out than before. And it all starts with the one thing you were taught to value most in your career. Oh, that thing? It's your gross salary. You know, the shiny 6-figure number you brag about at brunch while your credit card is literally screaming for mercy inside your designer bag. Look, to understand why you're actually broke, and yeah, I said it, I need you to look at 2 versions of yourself in this corporate simulation. First, let's look at professional Sarah. She's making $100,000 a year. She really looks the part, right? She's got the leased Audi, the premium gym membership, and a LinkedIn headline designed to make her old high school rivals absolutely sick with jealousy. But if you peek behind the curtain, she has exactly $2,000 in her savings account. She's one HR restructuring away from a total financial collapse. I mean, she isn't actually successful. She's just an expensive middleman for her debt. She's cosplaying as a rich person while the bank actually owns her time. Then there's wealthy Sarah. Now, on paper,
The system thinks she's losing. She only makes $80,000. She's still driving a 5-year-old Toyota that doesn't have a monthly payment. But see, while professional Sarah was busy buying status, wealthy Sarah was busy buying freedom. She has $50,000 sitting in index funds, compounding at 8% while she sleeps. Now, when the economy inevitably shifts, and trust me, the cracks are already showing, who do you think actually has the power? It's not the girl in the Audi. The system desperately wants you focused on that gross salary number because it keeps you spending every cent to maintain an image. They want you to believe that a $100K salary means you've made it, so you'll keep running on that hamster wheel until you're 65. Real wealth isn't about the size of the paycheck you receive. It's about the size of the FU fund you've built. It's the money that gives you the absolute power to walk away from any table, any toxic boss, or any situation that no longer serves you. When you have $50K in the bank and low expenses, a layoff isn't a tragedy. It's a sabbatical.
But here's the cold, hard truth. Even if you start saving like wealthy Sarah tomorrow, there is a hidden trap waiting for you. There is one specific lifestyle upgrade that feels like a reward but acts like a parasite. And if you don't spot it in your bank statement by the end of this month, you'll be trapped in the professional simulation forever, no matter how many raises you get. In fact, there was one tiny detail in Sarah's spending that almost ruined everything. Look, I've seen it 1,000 times, and I'm going to be blunt with you because, well, someone has to. That $80,000 salary you're so proud of, newsflash, it's not a trophy, it's a leash. I mean, if that paycheck requires you to be on 24/7, if it demands you live in a zip code you can't actually afford just to look the part, and if it costs you your mental sanity, then I hate to tell you, you aren't a high earner. You are just an expensive piece of corporate property. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to stop making money, right? I'm telling you to stop letting your money own you. We've been conditioned to think that a professional life means a certain car, a certain handbag, and a level of stress that we wear like some twisted badge of honor. But let's actually look at the math. If you're spending 60 hours a week chasing $80K just to pay for the lifestyle that helps you forget how much you hate your 60-hour week, you're stuck in a circular scam. You're one decision away from a completely different life. But you have to stop playing the part. The performative professional act is keeping you broke in spirit and stagnant in wealth. Wealth isn't about what you spend. It's about what you keep and how hard that money works for you while you're sleeping. Don't waste another decade buying $700 shoes to impress people in a boardroom who would replace you in a heartbeat. I mean, if it saved them even 5% on their bottom line. It's time to break the cycle. If you're actually ready to stop being a successful slave and start building a life where you own your time, drop a 40 in the comments right now. And if you want to see how the math actually works to get you out of the rat race, go check my guide on the Rule of 72. It's the simplest way to see how fast your money can double if you stop spending it on nonsense, you know? You have the income. Now get the mindset. Subscribe for more wealth strategies that the corporate world would rather you didn't know. And let's start building your actual freedom. See you in the next one.